Okay, hello. Oftentimes, units in Dokkan are designed around metas, or rather to counter certain events that have come out or that will come out. As such, unit design in Dokkan has had to change over the period and life cycle of the game to continue to evolve to match the ever-hardening content. Today, we're going to be going over the top 10 units that dominated a meta in Dokkan. Now, coming in at number 10, we have I Can't Live Without Him, You Can't Live Without Him, AGL UI Goku, the most noble and supreme form in all the universe, whose radiant glow places him at the pinnacle of all beings in existence. The truly transcendent one, the one above all. I mean, UI Goku, he feels like he's just going to be a timeless unit, especially at this point after his EZA. But, I mean, back when he came out during the 6th year anniversary, he was the best unit in the game, just fantastic in every retrospect, right? 70% chance to dodge, 50% chance to crit on his first super attack, and then if he gets any more, they're guaranteed crits. And of course, this only gets just that much better with his EZA, right? His EZA is everything, right? He just gets 100% dodge for the first turn because, why not? He's got 77% chance to dodge. And then, of course, he's got the super broken additional dodge chance with every dodge in that turn, right? So it goes up to 84%, then 91, then 98, and then fully 100% chance to dodge. Just really, really good. Shocker. Who would have thunk it? He's also got his super potent revive, 77% HP or less at the start of the turn, and if you die, you can revive with 77% HP. Pretty good, pretty solid revive skill. Just good. I mean, he's got good links. He's got good, solid active skill, right? He gets another turn of guaranteed dodge after you pop his personal revive and more stats. I mean, he's just good, right? Like, he dominated the God event back when he came out, right? He was like the best unit for every stage. He could perform in the red zone meta, even though it came out a year after his release. Just because most of them didn't cancel dodge except for Broly. And of course, he's really good in the current meta against literally every fight. There are currently no big time bosses that really cancel dodge, except for the physical Golden Frieza and 17, which do cancel dodge, but you have Tech UI Goku for that. None of them really cancel dodge turn 1, which is really good for UI Goku. Honestly, it's a shock that we've gone this far without a really hard boss that cancels dodge turn 1. But yeah, I mean, UI Goku kind of speaks for himself, right? He's going to come in at number 10. Let's move on to number 9. Now, coming in at number 9, we have STR Cooler, right? Where Cooler came out back during Halloween of 2019, and this guy, was just the best TUR, led the best team, and had the best design, right? He, of course, buffed Transformation Boost category allies 2 key 30% when they faced one enemy, and Transformation Boost was pretty much just the best team in the game, especially when the Blue Fusions came out. This is kind of like a Blue Fusions also addition to this list because they're not on here, but the Blue Fusions were really, really good on Cooler's team because of Cooler's support, because of how cohesive Cooler was, floating around, giving all these your allies support while just being good. And then he could transform, and obviously, turn 3 against pure hybrid Saiyans, which was a main majority of the enemies that you were fighting against. And of course, his damage was just really, really good. He also got a solid EZA, and he was pretty solid, right? I mean, he was nothing like outrageous, but he was good. He got stacking on his super attack effect and base post EZA. He got a chance to get another super attack if you had them debuffed, attack down, defense down, whatever. And then they gave him just 50% instead of 30% to Transformation Boost, which is notable. He was quite good with the LRSTR Cooler back when they came out during the 2022 worldwide download celebration. But yeah, Cooler. I feel like Cooler is one of the most iconic units in Dokkan history. I don't think we need to go over him too much more. That's going to be STR Cooler. He's going to come in at number 9, moving on to number 8. Now coming in at number 8, we have LR Int Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. Now this guy, you had to be there for him. Back when he was really dominant, when he first came out, like his EZA was cheeks, right? That it sucks. It's really unfortunate, but when he first came out, he was the most coveted unit in the entire game, right? Everybody wanted Day of Destiny Gohan. People were doing singles on these, I mean, they weren't even yellow coin banners yet, right? They were just legendary summon banners. But he's pretty vanilla. He just does damage, right? He was the hardest hitting unit in the game. I think even over, like, I don't think he was surpassed until Tech Vegito Blue came out? Maybe Dragon Fist Goku, the LR? But, you know, I mean, he was just, he's good. He started this key mechanic where you get an additional key every time you get a key sphere, which is really good. Was very good, is still pretty solid to this day. He had great links. I mean, there was just nothing bad about this guy, especially in a meta where you just didn't really need defense, and he had LR stats, so his defense was just naturally pretty high. I mean, ain't Gohan, man. Not many people had him, but to the people that had him, oh boy. That's going to be LR Int Gohan. He's going to come in at number 8. Moving on to number 7. Now, if you thought that you were going to get through a top 10 list without this guy, Tech Ultimate Gohan on it, you're crazy. Tech Ultimate Gohan, honestly, he could be higher, but I mean, this guy was just dominant for years. Like his pre-EZA counterpart was very, very runnable for 2 years after his initial release. Just guard plus greatly stacking, just way too strong. The link level update helped him a lot with his formerly bad links, you know, giving him Saiyan lineage, making his links solid, right? And then of course you get his EZA, which, I mean, his EZA is solid, right? Nowhere near like the level of what he once was, but I mean, giving him additional attacks, giving him damage reduction for the first turn, plus a little bit of extra defense, just very, very good ideas. And that's kind of what he really needed. He mainly just needed ways to get additional super attacks. Just very good. I mean, Tech Ultimate Gohan's another one of the most iconic units in this game's history. I don't feel like I need to go too in depth with Tech Ultimate Gohan. I mean, right? I'm one of the biggest Tech Ultimate Gohan glazers in the world. But I mean, yeah, Gohan good. I've seen enough. Tech Ultimate Gohan is better. He's gonna come in at number 7. Moving on to number 6. Now coming in at number 6, it's just, of course, you can't make one of these lists without, of course, including Orange Piccolo. LR Orange Piccolo, who is just one of the most dominant units in this game's history, for sure, right? He's got his intro animation where he gets the 100% attack and defense and guard for the first 3 turns, which is solid. 20% damage reduction. He also gives all his allies 2 ki, you know, right? Builds up a 30% attack and defense with each hit. You know, solid base form passive. He gets, you know, he could potentially get the 70% HP recovery. Well, technically it's full recovery, but you know what I mean, right? If he's under 30% and then get 50% damage reduction, blah, 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 blah. It's hard to get, but you know, you can get it. And then of course he's got just the giant form, which the giant form is just the stupid, most broken thing like ever. I mean, canceling all enemies' abilities to do literally anything to you is just outrageous. No super attacks, no debuff, no healing, no AoEs, no nothing. I mean, we all know it, right? Orange Piccolo. Still, I feel like a recent enough unit to where everybody kind of just knows what this guy does. He's just good. Yeah. He's going to come in at number 6. Let's move on to number 5. Now, coming in at number 5 is two units that shared that meta with LR Orange Piccolo, but I think for the front half of that meta, these two were definitely more felt, right? And they are, of course, the LR GT Duo and LR Bulma. Now, these two on the same team was really just too much for the game for the first probably, 7-8 months of 2023? Maybe longer? I mean, LR Bulma, obviously, she came in and had her just broken umbrella support, 3 ki, 37%, while having guard, while being super capable of defending herself, while having a really good active skill. Just good super attack effects. I mean, she was just very good. And then of course you got the GT Duo, which they did some ridiculous damage in base. They built up their damage reduction to get up to 50%. And although they weren't really a slot 1 unit, of course, Bulma of herself was quite capable of being in slot 1. So, I mean, it helps that this was also the best team in the game, right? The GT Duos Power of Wishes Battle of Fate team, which was just, really good. Shocker. You got World Tournament Goku on here. You had LR Orange Piccolo, Gallic Gun, Vegeta, and Trunks were still pretty solid at this point. I believe Full Power Super Saiyan 4 Goku came out later during the year. I mean, of course, Physical God Goku was dominant during that year. I mean, but that doesn't even get into the most broken part where, you just got GT Vegeta once you exchange into him, or standby skill, I guess. Pretty reasonable condition on it. And then, you just got this guy who dropped like a 10 million attack stat while supporting 8 key and 80% attack, and then he dies, and then they launch the super ultra mega giga spirit bomb, and it just, with Bulma's support, with everything, all how amped they were, this thing the damage was just too much. And then you come back with 100% HP. Like, this team was really just super broken. Like, this was one of, if not just the most dynamic duos that has ever come out. They're going to be good enough for number 5 on this list. Let's move on to number 4. Now, of course, coming in at number 4, we have AGL Super Vegito. AGL Super Vegito, of course, the first of the 70% leads, along with Broly, the physical legendary Super Saiyan Broly, but this guy is way better than him. Reducing damage by 80% from normal attacks. And then, you got just this counter with tremendous power. The counters were just broken, right? Like, the counters were just so good. Like, the guy couldn't take damage from normals. You could seal the super attacks back in the day. This wasn't a meta like today where you just can't seal. No, you actually can. And if you can seal the enemy, Super Vegito literally can't die. I mean, kind of enough said. Really good links. Really took us out of the SGR Gogeta meta. And, he was dominant. Duh. He's going to come in at number 4. I think the top 3 is all pretty clear. Now, coming in at number 3, it is, of course, the beast, the man, the myth, the legend, Beast Gohan. Just had this game in a chokehold for the first half of 2024. Still very good to this day. Yeah. Where to begin? Of course, Beast Gohan, when he came out, the superhero team was the best team in the game. He led the best team in the game. Pretty solid super attack effects. But of course, you got the guaranteed guard, 60% damage reduction right away, up to 80% if you got hit 8 times, or of course you got 5 attacks in battle. He's got just the best everything, right? He gives all allies key support. He gives himself an additional key per type key sphere, or not even per type key sphere, per regular key sphere obtained. He's got the broken active skill where he just says, nah, I'm him, and he tanks everything. I mean, obviously now without his full 80%, or without his intro, basically, he can be hurt through it. But I mean, like, he beast, man. Like, I don't know, man. This guy's perfect. He was a perfect unit. And then better units exist now, I think. But I mean, you could probably make an argument that Beast is still the best unit in the game, right? He's got perfect links. For what the game needed, he was perfect. I also think he's kind of going to be a timeless unit. I don't think he will be as timeless as AGL UI Goku, but he will be good for a long time, I think. This is the type of unit that you design, and it's almost like a mistake. That's going to be Beast. It's going to come in at number 3. Let's move on to number 2. Now, coming in at number 2, it's, of course, LR, AGL, Kalen, Caulifla. Back when they came out, they were... I think Beast was better when he came out than when Kalen Caulifla came out, but Kalen Caulifla just dominated for 9 straight months, and there's nothing you could do about it. You couldn't escape it. There was nothing anyone could do. Nobody could hold a candle to these guys. Kalen Caulifla, the Joined Forces team, was one of the best teams in the entire game. They stacked defense. Of course, they stacked defense in the main meta that you wanted to stack defense in, which is the Legendary Goku event meta. The Legendary Goku event came out like a month after they released, and they were the best unit in the game for it. Of course, they built up 66% dodge chance, so it's not like they just could only stack defense. They were super synergistic on their teams. They had lots of key. They had great support units that released with them, like the Tech Caulifla. and the STR Kale. They could potentially use super attack up to like what, 4 turns per turn, depending on if you had a Universal Survival Saga or Pure Saiyan, and that's stacked. So if there was both, you get 2 super attacks. You know, their links were very good. They were super good for their ki. And of course, this was an LR, so these key links, you know, giving them key obviously matters, especially the first couple turns when they don't have their passive built up. Yeah, and they kind of just they just dominated, right? They did some of the most damage in the entire game. They had the best defense by far in the entire game. They were leaps and bounds better than every unit around them, right? Like the LR Gohan and Goten were number 2, and they came out, what, maybe like, I think 4 months after they did on JP. I think closer to 3 months actually, because I believe they came out in July. And LR Gohan and Goten were great because they were similar to Kale and Caulifla, right? I mean, I feel like that just goes to show you how good these guys really were at their peak. It's a shame their EZA just didn't do them justice, but I mean, yeah, that's Kale and Caulifla. They're gonna come in at number 2, moving on to number 1. Now, coming in at number 1, it is of course STR Super Gogeta. The strongest unit that no one has ever used. All types, 3 ki, 3000 attack, immense damage, super effective against all types, 7000 attack, good links, kind of enough said. Yeah, just a broken unit. I feel like everyone knows why Gogeta was broken, right? Like, I don't really have to go too much in detail. I mean, to be fair, it's pretty obvious, right? He obviously had a rainbow leader skill, so he could literally lead everybody. He couldn't be slowed down by type disadvantage. He had really good links. He came out like during a meta where everybody, you know, was building these mono-type teams and finding a lot of success with it. And then he was just a game reset, right? It reminds me of the 7th anniversary LRs, which aren't here because I don't think they dominated their meta. Like they were some of the best anniversary units for sure, but they didn't really dominate. They could easily get crushed by the red zone, which, I mean, red zone is really hard, so it's no shame. Just don't think that they were kind of the right type of unit for this. But I mean, Gogeta dominated everything. I mean, like, I'm not gonna pretend I was playing. I don't even think I liked anime when this guy came out, but I mean, Gogeta for sure gonna be number 1. Yeah. Let me know what you thought of my list down below, whether you thought it was perfect or, you know, the algorithm would make sure it's perfect. You know that. Let me know if you thought anybody was snubbed or if you think that the order should have been different. Let me know if you have any suggestions for top 10 lists down below. Just know that, you know, if you disagree with me and the algorithm, you are, of course, wrong. But that's going to do it for me. As always, thanks for stopping by.